All right, so the new rankings have come out. We're going to actually take a list that's on niche.com, so we're not going to steer you in any way. But the cool thing about this video, we're going to talk about the top 10 suburbs of living in Boise, tell you who's living there, who doesn't live in these areas. So it's really going to help you to find that area that may fit your lifestyle, but most importantly, a bunch of the areas that you can cross off the list. So we're going to dive right into this top 10 list of the best suburbs to live right here in Boise, Idaho. If that's what you want, we're getting after it right now. Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Jackson Wilkie.
Shawn Tomich.
That's right. We are the Living in Boise team. If this is your first time to this channel, you want to learn everything about what it's like to work, eat, sleep, live, play in those top suburbs. Make sure you tap that subscribe button. Click the little bell so you're notified every time we do a new video. And we are honestly getting so many phone calls, emails, texts every single day from people moving and relocating here. And we absolutely love it. So thinking about moving anywhere in the Boise area, make sure you give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. Days, nights, weekends, we got your back when moving to Boise, Idaho. All right, Shawn. So we're going to dive through this list. I'm really going to pick your brain about who's living here. And again, this isn't our rank. We'd probably put it a little bit differently, but we don't want to steer in any way. It's a list off of niche.com. They talk about schools and the jobs. And so that's how they really rank these things. So we will take their list, tell you who lives there, and you'll have a good understanding. So number 10 on the list is an area that maybe people searching don't really know yet, but is a really cool area, kind of a secretive area. And number 10 is Emmett. Why don't you talk about where it is and who's really living there?
So Emmett is, it's this interesting little area. It's very much out on its own. So it's not really connected. But if you're driving kind of in between Boise and Eagle, and you drop down the hill, you're going to go into Emmett, and it's really cool. It's actually really scenic. When you drop into it, it's kind of like you drop down and you just see prairie. And it's kind of surrounded by hills. It's actually really scenic when you drop into it. And then on the way to Emmett is Firebird Raceway. And so that's actually a drag strip. That's a national drag strip that's right there, kind of Boise Emmett area. And I actually have drag raced cars out there about 15 years ago or so. But but Emmett, a little more rural area. You're not going to have a whole lot of shopping or anything like that over there. You do have to come into Boise for that. You do have like grocery shopping, things like that, but you don't have any department stores or anything like that at Emmett. So it's a lot more rural living, and most of the homes are a little older. Not a ton of new construction in that area.
Yeah, and that is the space too, or an area where people are getting a little bit more space. That's one thing people are really enjoying about Boise, obviously the outdoor activities, but hey, be close to things, but also I kind of want a little bit of my space. So you'll see that definitely in the Emmett areas.
Absolutely.
So number 9 on the list is actually one that I think used to live quite a while ago, but Kuna. Let's talk about Kuna, because that was actually one of the fastest growing cities not too long ago, but a little dot on the map that's really blowing up. Where is it and who's living there?
For a long time. It was, it really was, it was not even like you couldn't even see it on the map. It was, I remember, just a quick story. I remember my dad training me how to drive, and he's like, okay, we're going to drive out to Kuna. And I mean, it seemed like it was an hour away, and like we had to pack a lunch to get there. But no, it's actually, that's where I bought my first house. A little 3-bedroom, 2-bath. And that was about, 20 years ago, just over 20 years ago. And that's when it was really blowing up, just blowing up out there. But it's still kind of, I would still consider it a little bit rural living. It's just all neighborhoods, nothing but neighborhoods. And you have some grocery shopping, a couple restaurants. There's a couple bars there. There's a really cool bar called Cowgirls there that everybody really likes to go to if that's the scene. But other than that, it's neighborhoods, lots of family living. And then if you want to go and do any major shopping or anything like that, you're driving not even 10 minutes straight over to Meridian, because it's pretty much at this point connected to Meridian.
Yep. And Kuna, so again, it was a really small area. That was an area that really took a lot of building early on, right? So that's why it's more neighborhood style.
It did. In fact, they shut building down for a while because it was the fastest growing city in the
Yep.
country for a while.
Yep.
So yeah, they had to shut building down for a while, and create some more infrastructure before they were able to continue on with it. But and right now it's tough to get a home out there. Just because of the demand. The demand's high, and there's little to low inventory over there.
Yeah, and it's not going to put you too far away from Boise, but it
Oh
does,
no,
you know, being south, but it does get you kind of more like that country style living. You know, that's really what people are loving.
absolutely, and that's what I loved about it is that you were in a city, were in neighborhoods, so you felt safe, you felt comfortable, but you really are out in the country. You really are.
Yep. Another one that's kind of like that, but different direction. Number 7 on the list is, or number 8 on the list is Caldwell, Idaho. Where is it? Who's living out that way? It's really starting to grow too.
So Caldwell is just actually west of Nampa, and it's going to be almost kind of bordering Oregon. It's going to be bordering the Oregon Idaho border.
Yep.
And Caldwell is a place that, same thing. Anytime the Boise market sees any kind of growth or attrition or anything like that, anytime we start seeing growth, Caldwell skyrockets. And it's the reason is because it's out there further away. You can get more home for your money, more land for your money. And so people that don't want to pay the prices of Boise, Meridian, and living right in town, they will absolutely drive to Caldwell because they can afford almost sometimes even double what you can in the Boise market. But it is, and the thing about Caldwell is I believe it's as far as size-wise, the second largest city in Idaho, next to Boise.
Yep.
So there's just tons of room for growth potential throughout the next, 15, 20 years even.
Yeah, and again, it's
very rural.
It isn't, but it's not too far away from things, and you're right next to the freeway as well. But you know, there's another area there, and it's not on the. It's actually a little bit later, so we'll talk about it. But I love the feeling, like going like the old town Caldwell, you know, downtown, old like the old burger joint, and it's cool. The schools there, you know, right across the street, skate parks everywhere, and so you're getting, you know, on average, I think the lot size there is like 0.7 acres, so there's a lot of stretching out in that area, in the Caldwell Middleton area. So definitely where we're seeing a spike growth. That's where a ton of room is. I mean, that's the cornfields. I mean, everything we remember. Yeah. But now that's where a lot of the development is going. So see a lot of growth going there. Number 6 on the list. Maybe you wouldn't put it this far, but Nampa. That's your hometown, man. Let's talk about it.
So that's my stomping grounds currently. That's where so once I moved from Kuna, I built a home over in Nampa. And the same thing, I wanted a little bit more land, and I wanted more room for my money than what I was going to get in Ada County, which is Boise, Kuna, Meridian. And so I moved over to Canyon County, which is the Nampa Caldwell area. And it was, for me, where I moved from Kuna to Nampa it's not even 10 minutes away. I mean, they're pretty much bordering each other right where they're at. So yeah, I live in Nampa. I moved over there about 16 years ago. The thing about Nampa that I can tell you now is it is completely self-sufficient. In fact, if you were able to live in Nampa and find a really good job in Nampa, you wouldn't have any reason to actually have to leave Nampa. We have all the chain restaurants are there. We have all the shopping. Everything is there, self-sustained. People that live in Nampa don't actually have to leave Nampa if they don't want to at this point. So it's grown up a lot. And same thing with Caldwell. It still has a ton of room to grow. Still very rural, but very much, again, you're still in the city. And you still have a lot of that older homes in the middle of Nampa that were built in the 40s and 50s, mixed with a lot of new construction. So it's a real Nampa's, I would say, one of the biggest mixes of older homes, newer homes, blue collar, white collar. It's the mix of everything.
And being one of the hottest markets in the United States currently right now, let's talk about and give some of our viewers, because Nampa is huge. And honestly, with a lot of the clients that are reaching out, it's an area that we're really looking at a lot too. have they beefed up school systems? Obviously, they've taken care of shopping and all that. But with
Right.
kids, we have kids. Like, let's talk about that too. It's not just families out there. There's retirees all the way from families. But are they beefing everything up? I guess, for lack of a better term, in Nampa.
Yeah, one thing I was going to mention about that in the Nampa school districts is that's one of the number one questions that people always ask is school districts. Where are the good schools? Where are the bad schools? You are hard pressed to find really anything about a bad school. Like it's one thing that out of towners and out of staters that as they come in and move in here is they find it's very different from what they're used to, because they're like, okay, so where's the good area? Where's the bad area? Where's the good schools? Where's the bad schools? That's a really hard question to answer, because it literally, if you do the research, you're not going to find, oh, this is the bad school that nobody wants to be at. Like we don't have areas like that. That's not here.
It's crazy the things we take for granted, and I grew up North Idaho, but then have lived South Idaho. And it's just, man, that's the one thing we take for granted is you don't just have like the bad city, or you don't move to an area for that school zone. You just kind of move to where you want to live. And so when you see some of these rankings, especially on the niche.coms or whatever, it can pigeonhole you into an area that you may not like. So this is a huge reason why we love when you reach out and you say, I like this lifestyle, I like this style of home, because you're going to be just fine. These schools are all amazing. And you got to realize, with this many people moving to Idaho, a lot of the money's going to the schools. So, some of the remodels they do on schools is crazy compared to what we went to high school in, just in the last decade, what they've done with the, weight programs, basketball courts, crazy.
Right. But yeah, you're absolutely correct. Yeah.
So number 5 on the list is Star, Idaho. So we went a little long on Nampa, but that's just fine. Let's talk about Star and where it is and why it really developed into something popular.
So Star is still going to be considered part of Ada County, and it's kind of tucked in, kind of in between Boise, Eagle, Middleton. It's really like kind of sandwiched in there. And if you didn't know it was there, you would just think it was part of like Middleton, Boise, Eagle, because it's just all right there.
Yeah.
But Star is it's a very cute, quaint little older town that has a lot of new construction, and it's centralized kind of right on the river, kind of like Eagle is. And that's one of the big draws to Eagle is the river and being the proximity of the river. But Star also has that. You're just a little bit further west than Eagle. But when I say further west, I mean you're connected to Eagle. So it's honestly a place where you can still get quite a bit of value and a good amount of home and land for your money, because it's not considered Eagle, but it's literally right next to Eagle. So that's a great place for you to really get a nice return on investment if that's what you're looking for sure.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool to see, Eagle got busy and everybody wanted to live there, and so you got to keep building, and that's where we started seeing the trend out west from Star, Caldwell, Middleton, all of that working out. But the cool thing, if we get a lot of clients moving here and they really want to enjoy the Idaho lifestyle, so some of the new construction homes that are going here in Idaho, it's very unique to Idaho, and another thing we take for granted, but they're building shops with 14-foot garages attached to the house. So Star, Caldwell, those are the areas we're finding those homes too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I literally just helped one of our clients from the YouTube channel literally last week acquire one of those homes with the RV bay. He freaking loves it, man. When we walk in that bay, I love showing those. When you walk in that garage and you open up that RV bay and you walk into it, it's another house, because it's like 20-foot ceilings. It's ridiculous. I mean, you could park anything in there. So, but I mean, he's ecstatic.
Yep. So we've seen car lifts and all that, but I've got buddies who do that because you like the big, wakeboard boat with a tower or RV, or I've had friends who are more like car collectors and motorcycles, so they'll stretch out and do like the 3-car garage. And so that's if that's something that interests you, obviously reach out. They are hot commodities, but John's pretty good at getting people into these houses. So
yes, sir.
Number 4 on the list is Middleton, really right there next to Caldwell, but there's some really cool developments out there too, and golf courses and all that. But let's talk about where it is and who's moving out that way.
Yeah, you mentioned golf courses. One of my absolute favorite golf courses, Purple Sage, is over there in Middleton, and I freaking love that course. It's gorgeous, beautiful.
Yep.
But yeah, so Middleton, same thing, rural area. It's kind of on the outskirts. Middleton is, again, it's another one of those areas that it's very high demand, very low inventory, challenging to get into, because it's a really pretty place. Very, very kind of that country living, very family oriented. Great place to live, great place to raise your family. That's
Yeah.
Middleton.
So
Yeah,
and like the purple sage development is something I believe we'll start seeing more of now.
absolutely.
Acre, 2, 3 acres,
Yeah.
I mean, these modern farmhouse style homes or super moderns. But man, you get the sport court, you get like an acre of grass, and it's really,
Mhm.
really pretty out there. It's a very unique look that some people just don't understand. But once you go out and see that, if you want your space, I mean, Middleton, you'll kind of drive through the middle of absolutely nowhere sometimes to get out to these
Right.
places. But Purple Sage, we've obviously done vlogs and shown a lot of this stuff too to really get a vision. But if you want more space, you don't need to be right in Boise, 10 minutes from Boise. Then you can start stretching out the Caldwells, the Middletons too, and
Yeah.
get more bang for your buck. Number 3 on the list, which I think this is probably the most shocking one to us, is Garden City.
When you say shocking, yes. And
Yeah.
because, again, I've grown up here my entire life. So 43 years I've grown up. I've seen everything from like, Boise was nothing when
Yep.
I was growing up. So Garden City it's Boise, it's Eagle. It's to consider its own little city. It's really hard to do because it's about this big, and it really is just Boise and Eagle. In fact, if someone lives in Garden City, they really want to say they live in Eagle, and they want to give an Eagle zip code to call it Eagle, but it's really just Boise and Eagle.
Yep.
That's all it is. That's
And
all I could explain.
nothing like newer there, right? But if people do want
Yeah.
like kind of just that more established, older style
Yeah.
neighborhood, I mean, that's an area we pinpoint them
Kind of
to.
where it's at. Yeah, that's if you want the more established and in that Boise Eagle area and that feel, Garden City's it. That's
Yep.
exactly, you're absolutely correct. I think that was the best way to describe it.
Yep, for sure. So number 2 on the list is Eagle. It
Yep.
is definitely one of the most popular. Most people know about it and hear about it, but really talk because you grew up there. So talk to us about kind of the evolution of it and the types of people that are truly gravitating towards Eagle.
So Eagle being number 2, that's absolutely no surprise. Eagle being 1 or 2 is no surprise. Again, Eagle is the fancier place to be. And so if you're moving here and you're shopping anywhere in the sevens and above, because Eagle, it's usually, especially right now, it's probably everything's in the 800s and above.
Yep.
To get into Eagle. So you're going to get very nice custom home. You're going to be probably a little bit closer to the river. So we all know real estate is 3 things. What? Location, location, location. Eagle is location, location, location.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got the Boise River. You've got just that it's you still have that very family oriented, old school feeling of living in the city there. And it's the fancy place to be. A lot of shopping, a lot of money is going in there right now. They just put a very, very large upscale indoor tennis court down there that competes very heavily with a lot of the gyms there. I used to manage a very, very large gym in Eagle that has 3 pools, indoor track, all of that. And so the accommodations and things in Eagle, everything's much higher expectations, I guess.
Yeah, and it's very like compact. I mean, you have the old downtown, like Eagle area, but it's really sandwiched and it's right along that riverbed. So I mean, and especially the walks of life we see there and the clients we help is people, okay, kids are gone to college, we want our space, but we want to get outside and walk these paths so you can get out and you can see deer, geese, whatever, right along the river. And then the families come and they're like, hey, we just want like the can't miss area, where our kids can grow up and have plenty to do, with golfing, with hanging out with kids. So that is really like the epitome of Eagle, but the cost is just really plummeted.
The cost is up there, absolutely, but I mean, you're getting what you pay for. You really are.
Yeah.
And that's the people that want that lifestyle and want that's what they're getting for sure.
Mm-hmm. So Eagle, no surprise, and number one on the list is Meridian. So let's talk about it. Where is it, and what's going on there? It's pretty well built out by now, but there's a little bit more going on. We've seen some and a new Costco that just happened in the last year or so. So Meridian, what is it that's making it so special?
So we've done some blogs on this and some vlogs on Meridian, and really, I'll be completely honest with you, Jackson. Anytime someone's like, "Hey, I've got a family. I'm looking for outdoors. I'm looking for this. We're moving in. This is our price points in the like 600 range." I'm like, "Man, I gotta put you in Meridian." And a big reason and a big part of that gravitation to Meridian is that Meridian Village.
Yep.
And all of the shopping and just the way it was put in, and it was done right. And it's very family focused, family oriented. And that's Meridian's. Meridian is an extremely clean city, very family oriented, family focused, very, very low crime. It is the epitome of I want to move my family here.
Yep.
That is Meridian. And that is honestly, like, I would say probably 4 out of my 5 last clients with families that wanted to move here that were in that range. That's right where we put them.
So Meridian really got built out. I remember that. And that's really what drove the craze to Nampa too. So again, when you guys reach out, it's lifestyles, what you need, because Meridian actually hosts quite a few jobs too, with the hospitals and Amazon's coming out. There's a lot of infrastructure headed out just to the west side of Boise, so locating yourself to that. But we understand too, a lot of the people that are reaching out are either working from home, those kind of things. So it is lifestyle first and foremost. Again, there's
a lot
of bad areas.
You've talked about this a lot. What's really important is when we have that Zoom call. And because it's like you've talked about, when you could do so much searching online and, like you said, niche.com and all of these things, and they're really good. They're very informative, but they might be pigeonholing you and putting you in a box that after you and I have a Zoom call and we talk about what your needs are, I might be putting you completely somewhere else. So that's what's really important about this human interaction and this that you can't get by. I know that we're kind of moving into this generation where everybody wants to do everything online, and they're trying to get to a point where you want to buy a house online and do these things. But if you're moving in and you've never been here, and that's the majority of my clients coming in right now is people that are coming in from out of state, is they have to have someone that's on the ground that knows what they're doing and knows where a good place for them is going to be. And that's we discover a lot of that in that Zoom call.
Yeah, for sure. And we love having that. So really the only way that we can help you, and honestly, with this growth that's happening in Boise, like the reach out, the planning is pivotal to that. So the only way we can help, you got to reach out. You got to give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. Days, nights, weekends, we got your back. We're moving to Boise, Idaho. And until our next video, guys, we'll catch you later.
Thanks a lot.